So I really want to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves, let people know who you are, what you're all about, and then we'll just have some open dialogue about your courses and the things that we're trying to get accomplished with the PURE Project Manager. So let's start with you, Robert. I think we'll give you a head start.
Oh, I appreciate that, Lee, and thank you for setting us up so nicely. My name's Rob. Robert's the too formal most of the time. I started project management about 10, 15 years ago when I was asked to join a project team and I knew nothing about project management. So my background is learning by doing. I was part of this project team. I got to observe the project manager and how the team worked. And then at some point I realized, hey, there's a lot more to this than just the narrow slice I was getting from this group. And that's when I started finding the more formalized training, like, the PMP, the CAPM, Project Plus, other, certifications, credentials that exist. And you briefly mentioned this earlier, Lee. All of those in my mind are good scaffolding, are good framework. But I was really excited to hear about PURE because I thought, hey, what would have been great for me to know when I started? What would be the tips from someone who's lived it and done it? And then later I could add all the other knowledge if I needed to. And that's what brought me to PURE, is that ability to share my lived experience with folks so they can then learn from that and kind of accelerate past where I would have started.
Well, I think that when I took your classes, I told Joe this. I learned something in every single one of those classes that I didn't know going in. So you never know everything. And when you get somebody that's been out there doing it, you're going to pick up a lot more usable traits than you would from somebody who's reading out of a textbook.
Yeah, certainly.
Ellen, what do you got to say for yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, Lee. And again, thank you for having me as be part of this discussion among our instructors here too. And I made some nice friendships along with this. And I teach mostly in the MBA program with leadership and management. And our dean had an initiative to have the CAPM come to our campus. So a bunch of us got certified. And from that point, we really found the value in that, where we have a lot of team dynamics there. So what brought me to PURE was, it's almost like you have a great base, and what a wonderful complement to the PMP. But here's something that's more practice rather than theory. And you just have all the other synergy of people from backgrounds. And just that's what I was happy about, because I have mentioned that I feel if people feel valued and appreciated for what they do a whole better job as well. And everything just seems to flow quite well. So I've been in industry, coming from industry for 30 years and in the higher ed, but now I do see how this can all balance together.
So you started in industry when you were like 7 years old?
Yeah, I have a good genes.
Well, it's it's funny how years of experience really do say something about a person, unless you're just sitting around, which I've seen some of those as well. But if you look at the CAPM, we didn't have that for a long time. We only had the PMP for a long time, and then people realized that that's a big bite to take off. So the CAPM sort of recognizes that, but it's really a PMP junior. Mm-hmm. Is what it amounts to, and it doesn't really satisfy the things that we're trying to address. There's 71,000 CAPMs on the books, so there's obviously, it's a number 2 in certifications for PMI. So there's obviously some real interest in this topic. So I think if people begin to realize, hey, I can take this PURE program and add to what I already know, and I'm going to be in a position to make a difference on a project team.
Absolutely.
So get that message across, it'll make a big difference too. Yeah. So Tanya, are you sober enough to talk, or are you?
I am. No Mardi Gras antics yesterday due to inclement weather, so I am on a strict diet of water today.
My word.
I know. I need to learn to represent Louisiana a little bit better. But so yeah, just bringing it back to my, I guess, origin story of when I realized I was in project management was right at 20 years ago. After Hurricane Katrina, there was a program called The Road Home that started up that was formed to be able to disperse federal funds to the people who suffered through Hurricane Katrina. I spent 8 years over 3 different contracts. And my personal story was it took somebody else to say, hey, you are doing project management. You've gone through writing the procedures, being here in the beginning, helping with all the planning phases, and then the execution. And then even after some of the funds were dispersed, looking at it from a perspective of monitoring and controlling and making sure that those applicants, landlords, were actually leasing the properties that were rebuilt to people that met certain income criteria. So that person kind of helped to shape my journey. I got the PMP in 2014. And then my next change or journey that added on was becoming a leader in the PMI Baton Rouge chapter. So Lee, I'm glad to be here with you today too. I remember our origin story that you talked for our virtual event in January of 22. And that was how Lee and I met each other. We've since had the privilege of meeting each other in person at some of the global events and the leadership events. But PURE, even thinking through all of those changes from disaster recovery, how that project changed people's lives, to me taking the PMP, my own changes and moves, and even the own changes that I had to deal with in leadership after the pandemic and bringing our chapter to a virtual state, which was not normal for us. This was exciting. You know, this was an exciting way to educate other people, and I can definitely see the clear difference. You know, like I said earlier on the call, the PMP is paramount. It is great for people to get that certification and that formal learning and all the plethora of tools and techniques. And I view what we're doing here at PURE as something very complementary and supplemental to that. It will meet the 60 PDUs, and it'll meet it through diversification from over 20 instructors with different levels of education, industries, background, and experience. And I don't know, in my mind, it creates a perfect gumbo with different flavors that are added.
Yeah.
Pick
That's
up
Louisiana flavor right there.
Something new.
Yeah, you and I like the food. We talk about food, and I'm here thinking we're the béarnaise sauce to the filet mignon, the PURE to the PMP. And that's the beauty of it, that it can work together. And with the 60 PDUs, we don't have to keep on doing it. We have it one and done, and we're the PURE project managers to that.